Chag Sameach, Moedim L'Simcha. A quick thought about reading Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, this morning. As we noted, as we experienced, we stand when we read the Song of the Sea. It's fascinating, right, that the crossing of the sea is meant to be this apex of our Exodus experience. When we cross the sea, that is truly when we are free. Up until that point, we leave Egypt, and then Pharaoh's army changes their mind. We're stuck at the edge of the sea. We decide we want to go back. We'd rather be slaves and eat of the meat in Egypt as slaves than die in the wilderness. It's only once we cross that sea that we are truly free. The problem is that when we stand, we're actually not standing, recognizing the omnipotence of God. Verses before, we focus on Moshe and his arms up in the air and the sea splits and there's water on the right and on the left. We only stand Az Yasher Moshe Uvenei Israel, when Moses and the people of Israel start to speak, start to sing their words of praise and cross. What we're recognizing, what we're celebrating, what we're reenacting is not the action of the event itself, but our words upon experiencing the event. And so it makes me wonder, right, what is so special about the event? Rambam, the Maimonides, suggests that actually the miracle was not that the sea split. He attempts to find natural explanations for both the splitting of the sea and all 10 plagues. He suggests, rather, that the miracle was that the sea split at the moment the Israelites were on the edge of the sea and needed to cross it. The miracle was that they were ready, and thus the sea split. And so, too, why do we have 10 plagues? If we have this omnipotent God, why wasn't one plague enough? Our rabbis explain it's because the Israelites weren't ready. It was not until the 10th plague, when we put blood on our doorposts as a sign that we are ready. The Kedushat Levi, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev, the 18th century Hasidic master, actually teaches that every other part of Torah, we say Hineni, right? We have our Avot, our patriarchs, who when they are called out, they say these words, Hineni, I am here, and through words, we recognize that they are ready. But why at this moment, to show that the Israelites are ready, they're putting blood on their doorposts? And he explains that they were actually calling out Hineni. But the Mashchit, the destroyer, the angel of death that God sent out, couldn't hear them, so they had to put the blood on their doorposts. He suggests that all along it was their words that showed they were ready, not their actions, which is weird. Because we're taught that we're a people of action, right? That's what Heschel teaches us. It says that more than a people of faith, we must be a people of action. And yet, the Kedushat Levi is saying that more than a people of action, we must be a people of words. That actions without words behind them are meaningless. Words give context to our action. Words give meaning to our action. Words give purpose to our action. And thus concludes that through our words, Exodus is possible each and every day. He suggests that 3 times daily when we say the Amidah, when we begin, the words Adonai Svatai Tiftach, God, open up my lips. He connects the word Svatai, my lips, to Safa, to border, and suggests that the reason we say these is it's only through our words, ultimately, are we able to make an exodus. Only through our words are we able to leave the Mitzrayim, the narrowness that is still our bondage. That there can be physical bondage, but the bondage the Israelites experienced was not just physical. It was not just about labor. It was a bondage of their words as well, that they were actually unable to say what was on their mind. They were unable to speak freely. True freedom is about being able to say what we want to say. That is freedom. And so he suggests that the reason we say the Amidah 3 times daily is because it's ultimately through our words that led us to freedom, and it's through our words that can lead us to freedom again. Right? We stand up when we say Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, as if it's this pivotal event, and each and every morning we again chant Song of the Sea. We conclude Pesukei de Zimra every morning with these same words, Az Yasher Moshe B'nai Yisrael. Because each and every morning is a reminder, and thus Kedushat Levi concludes each and every morning, afternoon, and evening, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, when we get ready to say the words of the Amidah, is again an opportunity for us to acknowledge the exodus that we're about to go on. Because we don't talk about our Exodus experience. We don't talk about the Seder experience just to remember that the Israelites were enslaved for 400 years and then were freed. We talk about it as a catalyst to free us from that which still enslaves us. Because at our Passover Seders, when we celebrate that freedom, at our Passover Seders, when we have charoset to remind us of the brick and mortar of our hard labors, and salt water to remind us of the tears, all these things, at those Seders we still say, this year we are slaves, next year may we be free. At the Seder, when we celebrate freedom, we're acknowledging that we are not free. And I would suggest that it's not some idea that there are those who are enslaved, and thus, if they aren't free, we can't be free. It's an understanding that within our lives, there are things that still enslave us. There's still a bondage that we experience. And the Kedushat Levi says, first and foremost, it begins with words. So I take from his lesson two things. The first, that words without action, but also action without words, is meaningless. It's ultimately our words that give us faith. That's why we stood up for the Song of the Sea, not the splitting of the sea. It's our words that give us hope. That's why we're inspired truly by political leaders, by thought leaders, by what they write and by what they say, not necessarily by what they do. There are plenty of political leaders that some of us in this room love because of speeches they've given, not because of legislation they've passed. We're inspired by words. The second lesson is that each and every day we have the opportunity through our words to free ourselves once again from whichever and whatever enslaves us. May we be willing to do as Nachshon did, take that plunge into the waters of the unknown. May we free ourselves, and may this year we also see ourselves as free. Amen.